Today I got a new, not new, but this Tektronix 576 carb tracer, which is really in bad shape, and I'm looking to restore it to make it functional. I don't think it works at this time, and this thing is really heavy, so you cannot move by a single person, and this is really heavy. Physically it's not that bad. There are knobs, some works like there's some cracks, some looks like it's been used a lot, and you can see this all this is broken. This one's joint is broken, and but it looks complete. You mean like it has a lot of components, which I think it's fixable if it needs repair. And for a few months I think I will focus on making this work. Let's see if I give the power, what will happen. Okay, I connected the AC power, and I don't want to touch anything. There is a very high voltage around this area, so I shouldn't be touching anywhere over here, and other side also. This is CRT. Let's give the power and see whether it will smoke or see magic. Okay, so there is a power button over here. Let me zoom out and see. Hopefully it will power on, and let's see. Oh, okay. Nothing on the CRT, no indication on the readout indicators, but there is some power indicators, and I can turn and change the illumination. That's good, but no response. Nothing. No response. Okay, I will power it off and see. Start working on it. So my first priority will be checking voltage around here. This is the low voltage board, and I need to maybe I need to change these capacitors. It's like more than 30-40 years old instrument, and looks like these capacitors are original. Those are not replaced, so I need to replace that one. And working on this device is, as you may have seen on the other YouTube videos, it's not that fast, because as you see, every wire is connected by jumper. It's not like a plug and play, and before removing that, I need to label those to make sure that I connect it properly once I change or fix anything on the PCB. Okay, back to the bench. I started looking into this Tektronix 576 curve tracer. It powers up, but there is no sign of life. Basically it doesn't work as intended, and I started measuring the started looking from the power supply. Then I measured the voltages around these test points. By the way, this is the low voltage board, so it regulates the DC 100 volt, -75, 5 volt, 12.5, something like that, and none of the relay is up on this board. So first thing I will do is, before disconnecting all these wires, I will label each of those, and it has nicely labeled from A alphabetically. And even though the manual has color coding, I just want to make sure that I will not mess with the connection. So each and every wire, my plan is to label individually, and I will remove those wires, take this board out, and possibly I will check each and every capacitors to make sure that those are okay. If not, then my first plan is to replace those. I already found one of those capacitors is sorted. It's a very low impedance, so I suspect there are some problems with these capacitors. And then after, there is another board on the back side which is the rectifier, and it also has capacitors, and you can see, you see this, the white one, the big capacitors. Yeah, this one I think I have to replace. I have to check and replace those if they are not within this spec. Okay, I will continue working on this one. Okay, now I finished labeling all the wires on the low voltage board, and as you can see, it was from letter A up to letter, what is it, letter Z or G, whatever. It was missing one letter. It was letter R was not there. Beside R, from A to G. Now I'm gonna take this board out, take the capacitors out, do some measurements, and let's see. Okay, I removed the board, low voltage regulator board. Behind the low voltage regulator board, it's a low voltage rectifier board, and 2x, there are these, that orange one are the capacitors also. So I'm gonna check diode and capacitors to make sure those are okay, and the rectifier capacitors are on behind this board, so I have to remove this board. As you can see, these cables, on the both side. Then I have to remove at least one side of the cables, again mark those, remove those to get access to the capacitors. Sounds fun. Okay, last time I put the labels, like paper labels with all marking, and that doesn't last so long, so it starts to fall off. So for this time, what I did is put a heat shrink on each cable with a marking inside it, so that it will stay up there. And nice thing about this heat shrink is now I can test. I can power it up, and I shouldn't, I don't need to worry about having short circuit or like connecting these naked jumpers and messing it around, right? So this is where I am up to. Now what I'm gonna do is, these are from transformers, like and this is the rectifier board. And first of all, I will check the output of the transformer to make sure that this is the transformer, this is okay. Then after, I will check the rectifier and see if this rectifier board is okay or not. So I'm making progress on this Tektronix 576 restoration. So I took these two boards out, measured the power rails, and I found that the 100 volt DC somewhere over here has a lot of ripple. So I suspect one of the capacitor on the back is faulty. And for now, what I did is I put some one external capacitor over here just for testing, and after that I just installed back the low voltage regulator board, and I measured the power rails over here, and all seems to be okay for now. So now I'm gonna power it up and see if there is any progress or not. Okay, the moment of truth. So here you go. Let me zoom out, and let's see. Let me power it on. Oop, some clicking. Oh, now see, I can see the readout illumination over here, and still nothing on the trace. Yeah, but looks like there's something different, right? So I can see no changes, but looks like there's some progress. at least I can see this readout board, and it also changes, it also reacts, right? So it's making progress. Yeah, now it looks like the CRT is alive, so I can see this small dot on the CRT. It's moving randomly and it's responding, but looks like CRT is also okay. Yeah, see, you can see the CRT dot. So that's a good sign. Okay, so after working for some time, I'm able to get this display um, in the CRT. Looks like this control knob is working. So you collector supply, when I change, it's responding, and so far so good. So I'm still need to work on the knobs, this guy knobs, and this guy is also broken, and a couple of more things like these switches are sticky. uh, there are a couple of things I need to work on, but so far so good. Okay, welcome back. As you know, I'm working on this Tektronix 576 curve tracer for few days, and so far I tested the power supplies over here, and I did some cleanup, and I measured the main power rails, and all looks pretty much on okay. So as you can see, I have to put like a capacitor on 100-volt rail, and then after I have to tune the 75 volt rail. So there is one potentiometer somewhere over here. This is the one. This is the potentiometer to adjust the 75 volt, negative 75 volt. So all the voltage reference is dependent on minus 75 voltage rail. So just want to make sure that that voltage really is on spot, and surprisingly all the power rails are okay. So it was measuring quite fine, and then after I had to do some cleanup on these three buttons. Usually those were stock now, and after some cleaning, then those are okay. So after doing some cleaning, see, I do have a trace on the CRT, and yes, looks good so far. So I connected the diode on the left hand side and the NPN transistor on the right hand side. Before I do that, so I measured the output on the collector, so that if it's on AC, you should see this full AC on the collector output, like a 15-volt max. And if you put on NPN mode, so you will see rectified, positive rectified signal on collector, and same for the negative, you will see the negative going rectified AC signal. So I'm doing the NPN testing, and as you can see, the CRT is nice and bright. See, after some cleanup, I can see the characteristics curve of the transistor. I think I still need to work on few other things. So let's say I'm not sure why it's flickering so much, especially if I have more steps. See, it's more flickering as I increase the steps, and if I zoom closely, then I can see small ripple on the trace. It might be there might be some ripple on the collector output voltage that I need to look into it. Other than that, looks functional. And see, this is the diode. This is a diode because I'm in the NPN mode, so it just want it for the positive going. So let me reduce the intensity. If I go to the full AC mode and decrease this one, now it goes to negative also. See, and see, looks good so far, so good, right? Yes, this is the one. Yeah, that's the progress I made so far. So I still need to work on this flickering issue and the small ripples on the trace. It might be some issues on the collector power supplies that I have to look into it on detail. Other than that, so this is pretty much functional. So I also followed the manual and did some calibration. There's some steps. It's a lot of steps for the calibration, but I did most of the part. But still I'm not sure whether it's fully calibrated or not, so I'll spend some time on that. So yeah, please um, write and comment if you have any questions or comments. I think that's pretty much end for this repair. Yeah, basically some work on the 576 carb tracer. By the way, this is very heavy, and I want to just make a note that this unit is very heavy and there's high voltage all over the place, like 220 volt, 100 volt, DC, AC, and like 400 kilovolt for CRT. So you have to be very, very careful when you are working on this unit, um, um, anywhere on close to the circuit. So you have to be very, very careful. So there is a sign for the danger everywhere on the other side too. See, there's a warning everywhere. Okay, I think that's all for this video.